Good evening. I'm Dan Zeli. I'm president of the Project Management Institute Calumet Chapter Incorporated, PMI Chapter C 256, part of North American Region 2. This is the annual general membership meeting on December 27th, 2023. We have a full agenda. So I am going to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Central Time on this date. Mr. Secretary, please record the time in the minutes. Mr. Secretary, please proceed with roll call.
My name is Mike Krause. I'm the VP of Administration for the PMI Calumet chapter. I happen to be located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but I've known Dan for forever, and he asked if I could help out with the chapter, and I was so happy to do so. It's great to work with this wonderful group of people. So to get started with the roll call, Dan's alive, president. If you just say here or present, we'll move down the list.
Here.
Tyler Bush, VP of Communications. Mike Krause, VP of Administration, here. Jay Thomas, VP of Finance.
Present.
John Harris, VP of Membership.
Here.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Karen Teeter, VP of Professional Development.
Here.
Letitia Muse, VP of Volunteers.
Here.
Jason Romero, VP of Educational Outreach. Kelly I'm going to do this. Kelly Milosavljevic, VP of Community Outreach. Chantrice King, Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Here.
Hi, Chantrice. How about Selena Marshall,
Hi.
Director of Professional Development Days? And just as an FYI, we do have two open positions, the VP of Technology and the VP of Corporate Outreach. Back to you, Dan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mike. Do we have a quorum, sir?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get started. As I said, I'm Dan Zeli, president, PMI Calumet chapter, and what a wonderful year it has been. Matter of fact, I'm culminating about 3 years worth of experience in PMI as a chapter leader, and really have enjoyed it. This isn't my first time around as a chapter president, as I succeeded Mike Krause when I was president of PMI Northeast Indiana chapter. This chapter is a marvelous chapter as we sit in the south part of Lake Michigan. And as you all know, we all have the very big chapter, Chicagoland chapter, that seems to dwarf us in many ways. But there are many benefits of being a small chapter, like not having to drive into the city and being able to get a hold of somebody on an email or a phone call and, timely responses and stuff like that. We also had some nice little honors and recognition along the way. This year, we were not only were we celebrating our 20th anniversary as a chapter of PMI, but we were also in the top 1% of all PMI chapters as a Chapter of the Year finalist. Folks, that is huge. With over 303 chapters in PMI, we were a top finalist, and you could see here on the next chart right here, if you look at, in our category 1, which is chapters with less than 300 members, here we are up against some of these other chapters all the way around the world. Well, cutting the chase, we didn't get Chapter of the Year, but we did go ahead and put in a nice gallant effort. So other than that, we have some great news from all the officers, and this is a membership presentation. So it's also one for professional development and volunteers and everything on DEI and outreach. We're going to talk about that tonight. So as the annual general membership business meeting, let's get started over here with the VP of membership, Mr. John Harris. John, I will be more than happy to flip charts for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. You have the floor, sir.
All right. So this chart was taken a snapshot in, it looks like end of November, early December. And we can extend this actually now up to the right. We're sitting at 199 members right now. So December has been a huge push. A lot of new members have been taking advantage of the Guest Plus program, as well as some new Argonne members. We've got 6 members from Argonne that have joined in the past month as well. As you can see here, the renewals have been fairly steady over the last over the last year, like 9 to 13. There's another 11 renewals in December. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. This also has, we've got an update on this one. The retention rate as of November 2023 is 84%. So that's the most recent number we've got. So that just improves the picture and shows how we've been both growing and keeping the current members that are engaged, that are as part of the chapter. And then we've got a number of credentials. So you can see when started tracking this in January 2021, there was only PMP and CAPM certifications. Now there's a pretty wide range of certifications and micro credentials. We've actually got a new portfolio management professional as one of the new members that came on board. Now as of December, we're at about 70% of total members with credentials. So that's continuing to grow, and we're getting more credentials with the people that are joining the chapter as well.
Very good. John, if I may, just a couple of quick things here, just to give our viewers just an idea of how big our area is. Imagine being right up at the old NIPSCO power plant on the lakefront, which is now the server farm up there at the state line and the lake, and right at Lake Michigan, all the way out to Bass Lake. You know, that's quite a diagonal here, and incorporates all these towns and cities along the way. The other thing is John did the demographics also on where is our membership? Well, a large population in our territory. It looks like most of them kind of, you know, there's a mode event over there of it being in Valparaiso, also Cherville, Maryville, followed by Crown Point. If you could see, the medium disbursements are in like Munster, Hammond, Gary, Highland, St. John, Chesterton, and Portage. Then the smaller ones begin with members like 3 or so, that are roughly in the, with 3 or so. Next ones you have are a smaller populations. You can see from Cedar Lake all the way down to Whiting, down to 1. And now for some important crazy facts over here. Let's look outside our formal territory that I just showed you on the map. We have 7 members that are in Fort Wayne, 2 in Columbia City. That's our old stomping grounds. 1 in Warsaw and 1 in South Bend. But here's the other factor. Remember, I said a lot of our benefits of being a small chapter is you don't have to drive into the city. Well, we get a lot of people who in the southern part of Cook County and so forth who just don't like driving in all the way downtown for an event and have to deal with that. We make our meetings accessible when we have our in-person meetings, try to get them in Cherville, Maryville, so the drive over the state line isn't that bad. Or we might move it out to Valparaiso, maybe even Chesterton here coming forth. Well, one other thing is with our programs and being virtual and having an excellent website is we're also spread out in other parts of the United States. You can see us in Northwest Indiana, but hey, how about Arizona, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas? Not bad. And as John said, one of the benefits has been this Guest Pass Plus. So in the Guest Pass Plus, we were offering the special event that expires on December 31st called a free membership Guest Pass. And as John was saying here, look at what it has done to our chapters. So when John started and I started and this new board got together, we were at 109 members. So working it through, getting recognized, and a whole bunch of other hard work by this board along the way. we have grown to 199 members, as John said, with a lot of that, 11, almost 12% growth just in 1 month alone. And all that was probably the Guest Pass Plus program. So John Harris, VP of Membership, thank you so much for your very hard work this year. And I'm sorry to say our goal of 200, oh, man, you just didn't make it. But
Yeah,
I am so happy.
we're close.
But we worked hard, and I bet tomorrow morning we're going to be at 201. So I am not worried about that at all. The more that bot advertises itself, we're going to pick up 2 or 3 along the way in our 1,700 emails that are going out each mailing.
Yeah, I think my husband mentioned he got one today.
Tell him sorry about that. That'll stop on the 31st. All right. John, like I said, thank you very much. Great goal. I'm sure it has been accomplished, and it is great to see our chapter moving the right direction.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to finances. I'm going to bring in our treasurer and vice president of finance, Mr. Jay Thomas. Jay, you have the floor, sir. Here are your charts.
All right. Thanks for that, Dan. I apologize in advance. I've had some technical difficulties. I want to make sure everybody can hear me.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we've been fortunate this year to have had quite a bit of activity. Our year began with a beginning balance of approximately $4,123. And we've ended with a balance of approximately $9,685. So we have finished the year in a financially stronger position than when we began, which is a good thing. It's just attributable to the board and the membership and the activities that we've had. So thanks for everybody's effort in all of those endeavors. We can go to the next slide, please. All right, so this next slide basically kind of gives an overview of the various cash flows that we've had throughout the year. And as you can see from the graph, we've had a number of months where our outflows have outweighed our inflows and vice versa. We've had just a couple of months where we've kind of remained even in terms of inflows and outflows. But one thing that's been constant throughout the year is that there has been activity. So that is a very good thing. Our net cash flows have been positive. So we finished the year with a net cash flow of $5,561.22, which again, that would just be the difference between the beginning and the ending balance of the year. So all in all, it's a really good thing, and we're looking forward to what the new year will bring. All right, thanks for that. Next slide. So some of the notable cash inflows that we've had throughout the year has been some of the activities such as Global Summit Leadership Conference grant that we received, PMI reimbursement due to the use of electronic tools such as our website manager, Zoom, and things of that nature. And of course, we certainly wouldn't be able to even begin to do many of the things we've done this year without the membership dues and your support. So again, we thank you for that. Our cash or net outflows, some of the notable things that I have attributed to that has been Professional Development Day networking event that we hosted at Cooper's Hawk here in Hobart, I guess you would say, and PMI Global Summit Leadership Conference travel expenses. We were also able to have, I think for the first time, was 2 up your alley networking events. So these are just some of the things that we've been able to do. And certainly moving into 24, we are very excited and looking forward to providing and hosting different events and more events so that it gives us more opportunity to engage with our membership. So looking forward to that. Again, thanks everybody for all the work that you've done.
Thank you, Jay. And let's move on to our next report. That will be professional development, and Karen Teeter, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, everyone. From a general professional development perspective, which tries to tap into each one of our chapter months, I sort of view this as this pillar is really there to not only provide an opportunity for us to get together as members, such as this evening, to grow professionally, but also with other areas for us to network. And so we've done that through dynamic speakers at the beginning of the meetings. Typically, Dan has started the meetings asking if there's any job opportunities that any of our members either have or are seeking. And then there's always the opportunity to develop our leadership skills. And at the beginning of 2023, we did a pivot from a board vote. And it's not just about a specific chapter meeting, but it's also about networking events that allows us to extend to our family members to participate. And you know, you just saw some amazing numbers from John and others that have worked incredibly hard from a membership perspective. So the results are speaking for themselves, but it doesn't mean that this is where we should stop. This is where we should go. Okay, we have a new baseline. Let's go from here. But we also want to make sure that people have somewhat of a standardized experience. So Dan, if you flip to the next page, and for those who may have joined late, I'm at an event. There's a lot of very loud Italian women here, so I apologize if there's crazy background noise. So please let me know if you can't hear from me. So I did sort of a look in the rearview mirror and then a look forward. So and Jay had touched a little bit on this. We did a number of different events, again, both from a chapter speaker perspective as well as an event perspective. And most of them were pretty well received. We had some good feedback, and we're going to leverage this information as we go forward. I will say that typically we do take off June, July, and August from a professional development perspective. I know there's other groups or pillars that work and shine during that period of time. And so, Dan, if you flip to the next page, this is just sort of a look forward. And I have been I've been lucky enough to either have people show interest or themselves, or they allow me to continue to build their interest to participate. And so with that, I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to be able to offer 7 to 9 engagements with the mixer chapter meetings. So I'm just going to kind of go through this for Christine and Chantrice and anyone else who is interested in participating in the professional development pillar. We're definitely going to have some sort of connection after this call so that we can make sure that we hit the ground running with 2024. But there's a lot of different things that either were pulled out from previous years or just ideas that I had been collecting and conversations that have been occurring. So we've talked a lot from a chapter meeting perspective about bringing someone in from Toastmasters. We have made that introduction and we're just waiting for an individual. This might be an opportunity to do a breakfast meeting versus an evening meeting. The person we're talking to is in India, so it just makes sense from a time perspective. Matt Alfonso, who led a previous chapter meeting, who was a great speaker, has another topic called 8 Strategies of Leadership, which looks very interesting. So this is a potential as well. We have a note out for there's a conglomerate that owns Square Roots, Culinary Misfits, up your alley. And so looking to talk to them, see if it makes sense for them to talk to us. Like, how did you get all this up and running? What were all the activities? How did you track them? And then we would do something similar to what we did with the brewery last year and have a dinner there. A couple other chapter meetings. I won't go through everything, but there's contacts that have been happening with all of them. And I put a note down here. I think that like AI is so big, and that is going to be prevalent in everything everybody does, that I just sort of have a line item here that I think we should have something, but more to come on that. And then Dan, if you go to the next page, a few more opportunities that are listed. Axe throwing. Now, I know when I put axe throwing out there for my company, they nixnayed it because, I guess there's some potential legal thing there, but I don't know. I keep trying to get someone to pick it up. The next speaker, Julie, she did a presentation last year. That was great. I thought Luke Smith, he's with the PMO Global Institutes, and I've had some exchanges with him. This may be something good for a board meeting conversation. Gleb did a January session last year, again, really well received. I did finally make contact and have had a couple exchanges on RMC Learning for CAPM. We talked about this as a board meeting a couple of sessions ago. Like, what are some of the target groups that we can look at to continue to exponentially grow the chapter? And so is there a potential relationship that we can build here to get individuals into this CAPM program? Obviously, we have a chapter, a pillar that's focused on local volunteer opportunities. Do we have an event with them at Phil's Friends, for example, or past organization? Another thing that I've made some contacts with is Reading Crown Point. So we do a pickleball tournament. Doesn't matter if you don't know how to play, like everyone can participate in a round robin and then go next door to Off Square Brewery. So again, lots of different event opportunities. The last one here I have to admit, because I completely dropped the ball, although I still cannot find anywhere in my notes that I signed this poor gentleman up. He was incredibly gracious though, so definitely want to get him up for the next session. In 2024, I did put down this T- schedule. If anyone has sit on board meetings with me and are nauseated at me continually bringing this up, but communication is so critically important. We missed a couple events last year because we didn't get communications out in time. And so I created this T- schedule. Yeah, I should have put down draft actually in the upper right-hand corner, because that's what it is. It's a draft for discussion. Obviously have to have, buy-in from our communication individual. But it's just to make sure that we're getting that information out there. People have it front and center. They're aware of it, and we aren't springing it upon that. And so again, this is something for us to discuss, but I think it's an important thing to make sure it surrounds our professional development activities. And then the last slide here before we get to individuals who have either shown interest or I've tried poaching them, is that I do have a couple of questions. Like, I don't think we should underscore how important it was for us to be a chapter of the year finalist. Like, I think that is a big deal. I think that we should have some sort of communication out as we go into 2024, talk about what we did. We can all blast it on our LinkedIn accounts. But also, what do we do with the criteria that was out there in order to be a Chapter of the Year award? Maybe compare us, like meet with the individuals who won the Chapter of the Year award, like sort of, pick their brain. How do we get ourselves to stay in that mix? So that's a question I have. And then another question, which will be, forthcoming as we continue to discuss, is typically we've been paying $250 per speaker for a chapter meeting. And then we have been augmenting a portion of our events that happened. And so those are continuous things that we're going to have to do as we talk through finances. And then again, last slide, this is just our growing team. We'll continue to fill this out. I was, I guess, a bit bold here putting Chantrice's names there, but go big, go home. So anyways, with that, we'll continue to let folks know who's going to be participating in professional development. But as you can see, permeates so much of what we do. So there should be no limit to the number of individuals if you want to get involved. With that, back to you, Dan.
Wonderful. Professional development is one of the key milestones of what makes a local chapter great, because we could talk to localized topics and also the global topics that on needs that are relevant today. You mentioned AI. We've done a couple AI events already. Watch for more probably coming in 2024 as possible joint chapters or something, meetings or something like that. But Karen has done a fantastic fantastic job as usual. And again, Karen is no stranger to professional development, as this is their second or third go with professional development for the chapter.
Second.
Wonderful. I
You
know
do a
that
great
because
job, Karen.
this is great. All right, let's move on. Next up is a communications recap. And this is our Vice President of Communications, Tyler Bush, who unfortunately is having his Christmas tonight and cannot be with us, so I will handle his slides. So, without any further ado, I have to say one thing. Tyler is magnificent at graphics design. These are some of the best graphics I've ever seen for any announcements, and he is so well adapted to making any type of announcement sensational. I mean, they're not the same boring, hey, this two-color, announcement. This has actually got some flair to it. And he is blessed with the gift of gab and can concisely go ahead and articulate an event. One of the things that where he learned some leadership skills was at the Global Summit this past year. That was held over in Atlanta, where we sent a couple of our members to go ahead and hone their skills. And you can see some of the pictures that he took at the event right over here. His own graphics design experiences also very, very well. Like when he captured this picture of out in Las Vegas of the Leadership Institute meeting that I'm sorry, San Diego. This is where we received the 20th year anniversary certificate from our Region 2 mentor and also from PMI engagement partner. As you can see, Sarah Swanson on the left there, who is our Region 2 mentor, and Toby Utermolen, who is our PMI chapter engagement partner. Next up, I love the pose here. We had one of our first networking events that Karen set up was over at Byway Brewery. And it's a great place to network, relax, have some great food, close by, great setting. Again, the beautiful thing about that, it was one of the very first networking events over here, and we scored bid. We had 25 people plus attendant. It was also open to significant others in that. And the beer was good too. Matter of fact, we had our own brew called PMI out there. So it was awesome. Tyler also captured a bunch of graphics. You could see his handiwork down here as he did with the bowling party announcements and all that. He also mastered the Star Chapter website, has a great feel for setting up stuff like golf events. And you'll start seeing this here as the months come up here in the next couple of months, you'll start seeing announcements for that. It's great they captured up your alley right there, and as well as our 20th anniversary event that we had over at Cooper's Hawk over in Hobart, Maryville. Great turnout. It was a great roundtable discussion with the past, present, and future of PMI Calumet chapter. So we'll talk more about our golf outing coming up here in 2024. I believe it's going to be June. Watch for details coming soon, and look for that magic golf ball with our logo on it. Lastly, as we have in a number of our announcements over there, we are looking for volunteers. Communication, there's so much communications activity, whether it be in social media, contributing an article for a newsletter, writing in a newsletter, helping out with some webmaster chores, just simple communications on day-to-day to sending out chapter announcements. We could sure use you, and all you have to do is learn the automated tools, and we can make life very, very easy. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to vp-communications@pmi-calumet.org, and Tyler could hook you up with some responsibilities. Karen, you have a hand up.
I do. I just want to mention to individuals, I think some of from a volunteer perspective, this can be things that it's not as heavy of a commitment if you don't have the time as being, say, a board member. Like, these are opportunities that you can lean in and help for a specific event. So in that case, you can manage your time based on other things that you have going on. So, I would just ask those that are on the call and anyone that we talk to keep that in mind. There's one piece about being on the board, about being a director, and then you have certain levels of requirements or, you know, things that you need to fulfill. And then the other things about being a volunteer, and those are where you can lean in where it makes sense and works for your calendar.
And one more important factor, all these tasks are PDU enabled. Every hour spent is a PDU. So I give them away like they're, you know, like it's water. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Next up, we have community outreach. Thank you, Karen, for covering that as well. Community outreach, Kelly's not here as she's up in Michigan with family over the holiday. So I'm going to cover her couple of quick slides. One of the most important things in community outreach that we have in our chapter is the ability to get out there in the community and do things that make a difference. One of the things our nonprofit, PMI Calumet, likes to do is partner with other nonprofits, and our beneficiary is Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. Part of giving back in the profession and volunteering for social good is having those events or those businesses that we can help support, like Food Bank of Northwest Indiana, to do things like stamp out hunger. So if you look on the PMI websites under social good, you'll see the whole campaign on what that means. But what does that mean for Calumet? It means that PMI Calumet members have done work over at the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana on Broadway in the sorting and food distribution. They've helped out at the mobile market, and we also offer financial support. Let me show you a couple pictures. Like, hey, we give checks. We give more checks. And we also work in passing out food to families that are deserving, you know, at the mobile market. Other events that we've done together was also supporting the Griffith Central Market. This is kind of more of a fun activity than it was volunteering, but we did have a number of people come up and ask her about what is PMI Calumet. So we had a chance to go ahead and do a little outreach out there. So Kelly got the flair there with the old cake, and hey, the food trucks and the foodies, they were all fantastic. Kelly also helped do that amazing event in planning the 20th anniversary event, where we all had a great time over at Cooper's Hawk. All right, so that can kind of a quick snapshot at community outreach. Now I'm going to turn it over to our VP of Volunteers, Letitia Muse. Letitia, you have the floor.
I have the floor. Good evening, everyone. And this is sort of a 2023 recap of some of the volunteer opportunities that we've had, and also things going forward. Many of these things were kind of mentioned earlier with the other presentations by Dan and Karen, you know, the By the Way Brewing Company, when we did the tour up your alley, the PMI Calumet 20th anniversary Cooper's Hawk. Another opportunity that we had that Dan would have new member orientation chapter introduction meetings for the new members that are added, you know, to the chapter. And during those meetings, we also talked about volunteer opportunities. So actually, I think maybe 2 or 3 of the board members that we currently have actually came onboarded from the new member orientation sessions. So it's just an opportunity to find out about opportunities, to become part of the chapter, you know, to serve, network, get PDUs. As Dan said, you know, he's freely gives PDUs, which become very important for those who have PMPs or CAPMs or, you know, the different certifications. If you can go to the next slide. So this last year, okay, it's a little bit different here. We had a lot of events where there was some in person, but a lot of them were still virtual. But going forward, we're looking for more in person and hybrid meetings. And with that, we would need volunteers to help with the registration, you know, miscellaneous other things, you know, as part of, you know, the planning, especially with the golf event that's coming up in 2024 for June. We'll need a lot of people for registration, for things for that day of the event. It was also mentioned, you know, communications with Tyler. So there's lots of opportunities, looking for people to get on board, you know, come and help us, share with us. If you're interested in writing articles, just about anything you can think of. And it doesn't require a lot of time. It's based off of what time you have available to give. So it's sort of a call to action to come and serve, engage, or re-engage. You may have been someone involved with the chapter or a prior chapter previously and kind of stepped away for a while, but we're asking you to consider coming back for 2024. And again, it's an opportunity to earn PDUs. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Well covered, Letitia. I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of the outreach opportunities. There's corporate outreach and education outreach. Real simple. Education outreach, we have a goal. We are blessed to actually have universities and colleges in our territory. So one of the things we definitely need to do, we are looking for a new appointed outreach VP, is to help bring in that relationship, mature that relationship with our current partner, which is Purdue University Northwest, and grow the opportunity specifically at Valparaiso University and Indiana University Northwest. We do have some connections over there, and we are looking to grow those opportunities first. Outreach, again, not many PMI chapters have this amount of, universities that we can draw on, but we are blessed. The next thing is corporate outreach. Corporate outreach is basically and simply put as reaching out to those businesses, large businesses in our areas to make a difference. We can offer a variety of services. And John Harris, I'm hopefully not going to, be too much and steal some of his thunder, but I'm announcing our partnership that we are talking to with Argonne National Laboratory. John also works there and has been very valuable at growing that membership. And we are going to show them how we can support them with everything from brown bag meetings, discounts on software, memberships, books, supplies, arranging for conferences. All this other stuff is that we mature. We'll talk more about that. But now that we got one sponsor, how about rekindling a couple old relationships? Two of the biggest companies in our territory are NiSource, NIPSCO NiSource, and also BP. And we'd love to have our corporate outreach VP start re-engaging with these two big companies together. These three companies would form approximately 70 to 75% of our membership, where everybody else is a one-off. So that's going to be huge if we get the right VP in here. We could start growing corporate memberships or stuff like that, and really leverage that capability going forward. I'd like to also go ahead and talk on the next opportunity here is going to be a report by our director of DEIB, Chantrice King. Chantrice, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
So far, so good.
Okay, so this is a fairly new committee for our PMI chapter. And for those that don't know what DEIB means, is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. These are a couple of bullet points of our journey and our objectives. So the first one is just to make sure that everyone is, understand the needs of the chapter members. So we'll be sending out a survey to the members just on, DEIB questions, so we can know how to tailor potential workshops and events for our members. The second one is really important that we create a safe space where our members can share diverse ideas and feel valued. Ultimate goal for this particular committee is really just to make sure everyone, a member of the chapter, they feel supported, they feel valued as well as respected. The third objective is really just to educate, engage, and empower. And then the fourth objective is to seek opportunities for continuous improvement in our DEIB journey. Please, within the coming months in the new year, we're hoping to have a page on our website dedicated to this initiative. If you are interested in joining this committee, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Chantrice. Boy, what a great board, man. We are marching right along. We're getting to that point where I'm going to do a president's report and kind of hit the highlights here. So let's go ahead. One of the things about being a chapter president and working for a great chapter like Calumet chapter is the board. But having a board, with one or two things that are not clearly defined, it may be a challenge. So let's look at some of the challenges that we've had as a leader. Challenge number one. When I came into this thing in 2020, just as we were about ready to get started, we got COVID-19, kind of shut things down. But there's some benefit there. We went from meeting in person when we met in person to starting to meet monthly, and we had the power of Zoom. Who actually knew what Zoom was prior to COVID? I know I did. Barely did. The next thing is we took that time to go ahead and resurrect the Calumet chapter in a couple different ways. We went from a chapter that met maybe 4 to 5 times a year to one that's meeting pretty much monthly. We're taking a couple of summer months off, for this or that, but we also offer virtual alternatives. The other challenge of and what helps resurrect the challenge is being able to recruit new board members, train them. And Mike Kraus could train them the way PMI would want you to train them, and to give them the knowledge, the tools, the opportunity, the playbook on how to best execute your role. Then also train them, give them the tools. I mean, actually show them a better way to work, and work as a board, which actually makes a cohesive board. If you have a cohesive board, you could do things together, set goals, objectives, work well with each other, meet up with each other, have fun. And then annually, you come up with an annual plan. And most importantly, you execute to that strategic plan. The other thing that helped make us a better chapter was rebranding. We went from the old logos, that, I don't know, is that a train? I guess we had the old trains over here in the Calumet, the old logo. Then we came up with, hey, let's go ahead and rebrand it to this one, which was an interim PMI logo to what the new Project Economy version of our logo is here for the Calumet chapter, as you see there. The next challenge was strong professional development. Come up with programs that make sense in networking. Wow, how do you do that? Oh, yep, it's all Karen. Easy. You get someone as knowledgeable. And when I actually went back through the old material, and I found Karen in 2012 presentations and all that, and I saw some of her work and what she did, I had to reach out to her. So, through a couple friends, I was able to reconnect with Karen, and lo and behold, we've had some of the greatest chapter meetings in project topics and best speakers I've ever had in any chapter, PMI chapter, over my 20 plus years of being involved with PMI. Karen definitely has a good, healthy mix of good professional development topics and intermixing them with face-to-face networking sessions where we can actually get out and have some fun. And now going forward, we're going to have a mix of virtual and in-person meetings, and also hybrid. So, hybrid, we'll see. But going forward, it's going to be looking great. Our next challenge as a chapter leader and growing a chapter is always hard. And also when you try to grow, you want to be able to increase retention. Well, John Harris, our VP of membership, has definitely done that. And we found one great tool called the Chapter Guest Pass Plus program. And as you saw in the previous charts, it grew membership over 80%, with almost 12% in just 1 month alone when applied on the aggressive challenge that we've been on. So well done there, John. Challenge number 5, hosting community events and volunteer opportunities. We heard that from a number of our volunteer leaders here on the board. Kelly has been instrumental in getting our association together with the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana, giving them checks, and also our opportunities to get together at the Griffith Central Market. And there's more coming, like possibly getting together with Phil's friends here, even though we haven't had an event. Our 6th challenge was to increase academic outreach programs. As I spoke a moment ago, hey, we have that partnership already with Purdue University Northwest, but hey, we also are looking at expanding quickly out to Valparaiso University and IUN here, hopefully in the first quarter, no later than the second quarter, is getting those introductions met and hopefully being a challenge for next year. Our last challenge that I've had as a chapter leader was trying to initiate corporate outreach and partnerships. And as I just spoke a little bit ago, hey, it's great to have Argonne as one of our chapter partners. We're going to see some great things, as Karen alluded to, possibility of morning meetings, maybe some, quickie, 20-minute, half hour even, breakout lunch meetings or something, whatever might come up. That would not only, be appealing to Argonne, but hey, we might be able to open it up to a larger membership as well. And our friends at NiSource and BP, we'll see what happens in this coming year. Like I said, I'd like to get together with more events to possibly serve them or provide them topics that can benefit them at their workplaces. That is all I have. Now, members, it's your turn. Open the floor to questions from the general membership. Any proposals for the board? Please bring them now. The floor is yours, people. You have an idea, you have a question, the board is here to
Dan,
listen.
you're so good. You cover everything. Yeah.
Oh, hi, this is Nita. Great work. Thank you all so much for your hard work and the events. I came to one of them this year, so thanks for that. I just had a question since I'm seeing the information, about the DEIB committee details. So I was really happy to see more on that and wondering about like some of the things maybe we can spotlight. I'm thinking just out loud, since you opened the floor, about holidays, because it'd be great to somehow, messaging, if we're talking about the belonging and incorporating acknowledgement of different holidays in our community. So
That's it.
yeah, we can talk more about that, but that's just something that came to mind. Yeah.
I think that is a great idea, and that is actually one of my discussion points to talk to the board during our next board of directors meetings. In addition to that, we've also just joined, and I forgot to mention this, we also joined the PMI DEI chapters collaboration team. So it's just a bunch of chapters that collaborate on potential like DEI events or shared DEI resources that we could present to the members as well.
Awesome.
John Treese, Dr. Nitha Nagubati from the University of Chicago up there, I believe. Is that right, Nitha?
Yeah, I will graduate. Yep.
Fantastic. Sean Treese, Nitha is a great resource to tap, maybe potentially offline if you could raise her up there. Maybe you could exchange contact information on the chat or something.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
You bet. Other questions from the membership? Any proposals? Discussion? The floor is yours.
I'm all up for some axe throwing, Karen. We got to figure this out.
So yesterday I had a very lazy day. It was yesterday, the day after Christmas. We had a very lazy, I hope it was. We had a very lazy day. We're laying on the couch and I said to my daughter, I said, she wanted the clicker. We were just watching movies, hanging out, and I was like, all right, but remember, I'm not a great thrower. Hit her right in the lip. And, and she teared up a little bit because she was so shocked. So I'm all for axe throwing also, but my advice to everyone will be stand behind me.
Yeah, yeah.
And to the side.
Who's the next building, Dan? I don't know.
Okay. Last round. Any other questions or proposals from the membership? Please bring them now. Going once, going twice. Moving on. Next up is any new business. Any new business that any of the board members or membership want to bring before the board?
I don't have anything from a professional development perspective, but I did put this in chat. I'm not sure how many people are looking at that though, but I do want to take a moment, Dan, and just thank you for, you know, your persistent, your consistent, leadership, over these last, few years. This is my second round on this board, and there is no comparison to the first round. And I, not taken away from the leadership that was there the first time, but definitely attributing it to you and your leadership this time. So thank you, because in many cases, it's a job without rewards for you know everything you did. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Sincerely appreciate it. I do have one new business thing, actually, Karen, for you. On the Region 2 President's call a couple of weeks ago, Central Indiana chapter and Michiana chapter was asking for our participation, possibly in January, for a joint chapters meeting. They have a speaker already identified and they are carrying the water. All we have to do is jump on a virtual conference.
I think that's great. I think I have somewhere in my Excel spreadsheet, how do we expand and join forces where it makes sense? So I love that idea.
Okay. I'll look in and pass you the details on email, probably tomorrow, and hook you up with Central Indiana President Galen Hill. She's fantastic. She's aggressive. She's a real sweetheart, easy to talk to, and she's also a motivated leader. So I think there's some great stuff coming.
Awesome.
Okay. Board, any other new business? Okay, well, I'm going to move on then. Let's talk about a wrap up here. So who is PMI Calumet chapter? In summary, I say this at all the new member orientations, and you'll hear this again if you're coming with my orientations. We provide professional development course. We provide great featured speakers within our budget on a variety of topics on essentially the third Wednesday of the month. We also try to get with other chapters for professional development days where we could get premium speakers. You know, the guys who charge like $2,000-3,000 a day, and really get some quality education, help hone our leadership skills and other soft skills. Other thing is we are very big on certifications. The biggest ones that we spoke about are not only the Certified Associate in Project Management, but also the Project Management Professional, Discipline Agile Scrum Master, and Agile Certified Practitioner. Well, we are fortunate to have Peak Business Management as our 2023 and now 2024 authorized training partner, and they'll be assisting us with certifications. And folks, if you haven't seen what great education delivery, I'm going to put Christine Boyer on the spot right now. Christine, in 30 seconds, could you enlighten us on your journey with Peak Business Management and also congratulations on becoming a PMP.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it was a combination actually, Dan, between you and Peak, reviewing my background, reviewing where I was, and you guys laid the path out for me. I put the hard work in and I got it done. But
And how,
Peak was great.
yeah, how was Peak and what was their software delivery thing, for learning events? How did they do it?
It was a 2-week online class, 4 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. It was a boot camp style class, so it went very fast. However, their instructor there is fantastic. Her name is Ashley Hunt, and she was born for this position. And she helped you as well outside of class too. Like, they helped me fill out my application. They reviewed it for me before I turned it in to make sure it should pass the muster of PMI, and corrected me and showed me that's the other thing. I mean, they're just not going to correct something for you. They're going to show you how and why, which was very big for me in learning that and getting through it that fast, because it is a boot camp. That is definitely what it is. But they go over everything and what you need to know, and you tell them your timeline and what you need to do, and they make you help it happen.
There you go. Wonderful. Folks, Christine is one of my mentees, and right now I'm carrying 4 mentees in this current cycle, along with Darius Triplett, Casey Taylor, and Dean, and who else? There's another gentleman, and his name is Ashley. I'm going to call him Ola, because his name is longer than this presentation I gave today. But he is looking for a certification, and we welcome him to join us. He is quite qualified already, and he's looking for his PMP. So he's also a consultant in our area, and we look forward to seeing him along the way. So another thing that we offer is mentorship, whether you're a student, a career professional, whatever. Doesn't matter. If you got questions or about your career, want to learn about certifications, reach out to us at info@pmi-calumet.org. That's info@pmi-calumet.org. And we'll talk to you about mentorship and get you started on the right path over there. A couple other things that we have. We provide opportunities for networking. We provide professional development days for education. We provide speakers that could be loaned out to universities, and reciprocity wise, we can get speakers from universities for our chapter events. And most importantly, other than the discounts, is we like to have fun. Just ask us when we have our axe throwing event and Up Your Alley or whatever, we have that one. But folks, it's been a great ride for the last 3 years for me, and I am not disappearing. I am actually stepping aside as your chapter's past president. And I welcome you to get real warm and familiar with our president-elect, Mr. Jay Thomas, who is our current president-elect and also our vice president of finance and treasurer. Jay's taking the reins effectively January 1st. And the last announcement I had, in order to get our new 12% in 1 month growth in membership, it looks like, John, we're just going to have one of those new member orientation events. So I'm going to schedule it roughly for Tuesday, January 16th, probably around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and watch for announcements as they'll go out to everybody. That's the join. Lastly, like I said, everything's about PDUs and a claim code. When you registered for this event and got the Zoom link, you also got this PDU claim code. So, if you log into PMI and go to your dashboard and come up to report PDUs, it comes up with a box that says, hey, PDU claim code, just hit I have a claim code and put that number in right there, and you're all set. You'll record your 1 hour in time for this event. So that's all I had. It's been a blessed year. I'm glad to have been your chapter president for the last 3, and look forward to seeing you all in 2024. Thank you very much. And like I said, see you next year. Take care.